All right, perfect. And then edit last time. All right, welcome everyone. Today is July the 14th. Definitely a nicer day today. Just went to the gym, powered through a nice workout, some nice swimming, sauna, enjoyed myself. We're back, chilling. And we're here with the team at NEKTR. Man, these guys go way back, since 2021, for the people that are just now watching this recording. So yeah, I started, for people that know, I started my channel around earlier 2021. And I remember Raw reached out to me when I had like 300, 400 subs, something crazy like that. So it's great to see, the connections, we go way back and such like that. So excited to see what these guys have planned because they've been working on their project for a whole year, like almost 2 years now. So, we got to talk a little bit about the project, get into the teams, stuff like that, utilities. We're going to get into everything. So starting
Sounds
off,
great.
could you introduce yourself and then the rest of the team behind NEKTR? I know you have Cosmo with you. So feel free to
Yeah, yeah,
go
yeah,
away.
yeah, man, for sure. So yeah,
Go
my
away.
name is Ra. I go by Ra the Kushite. That's my Web3 nomen, my Web3 nom de guerre, as you want to say. I'm the CEO of Nested Labs LLC, which is the parent company of NEKTR. And so then I've got Dwayne Martin here. He is our Chief Technology Officer and the main guy behind the development, right? We've been doing everything in house. It's been a great ride. We've also got, financial advisors from the LLC. We've got a 3D designer coming for the NFT side. His name is Jay Robinson. He's a anesthesiologist based out of Detroit. I've got my sister, who's the chief graphic designer. Her name's Kiara Young Connolly. So she's a really amazing graphic designer. And then we've just got a number of different mods across the world. We've got Mitch Everdeen, who's based in Gold Coast, Australia. We've also got a guy named Carsey, who's based in Reno, Nevada. He's heading up the AI side of what we're building as well to integrate with our dApps. And then, yeah, we've just got friends across the space. And yeah, we're loving being here. We're based in the US, in the Midwest for now. We're a non-security token. We're governance and utility. We're actually more migrating towards that software designation because as we dig into this, you'll see software is the big thing that we do that drives everything. The token is the utility for the marketplace, and the governance for the social DAOs. So yeah, we're happy to be here, and we want to continue to grow and scale our team, and we're taking this thing global.
Fire. So, I guess, where did the NEKTR, name kind of come from? Because you guys have been around for quite a while. So, why choose NEKTR? And, what does it mean? And where did you get the idea for the
Yeah.
project from?
So really, at the end of the day, we believe in life, we believe in light, we believe in karma, we believe in chakra, mana, good vibrations, good energy. You always hear the term nectar, the nectar of life. It's the substance that you need that drives everything, right? And so for us, that's just something that we wanted to continue to just carry on with what we do. Like, be good, do good, right? Bring some light and life to the space, destroy the FUD, destroy the rug pulls, destroy the scamming. We're legit, we're doxxed, we're KYC, we're real people, we've got LinkedIn's, we're not afraid. So at the end of the day, Dwayne got some of the inspiration from him. He spent a lot of time living in Nepal, and just always would tell me about the vibe there, just the energy, the life. Cannabis drives a lot of things there. People are happy. There's not a lot of civil strife. People are just happy to be there. And so initially, our logo when we were branded on the cannabis side was that hummingbird, and now we've just tried to pay a homage to Polygon with our new logo, the blocks linked, right? And so yeah, we're still loving the name. We wanted to keep the name. We just kind of wanted to rebrand to make sure that this is an integrated Web3 hub on the Polygon space. We saw an opportunity with Polygon. We hopped on it. We didn't switch up when it looked like things were going the other way. And we're happy to say that we are going to be the premier alt token on the Polygon space, driving a marketplace at a time where Polygon's pumping. So we wanted to be different than others. We didn't want to go chasing, being another ETH token, being another BSC token. We wanted to evolve. We believe that Polygon in its current form and then Polygon 2.0 provided the roadmap to getting a lot of people into the space and, you know, an opportunity for people to make some money, but also to stay connected. It's all about care, camaraderie, and commerce. So care, we'll have wellness dApps, camaraderie, we're going to have the social DAOs, and then the commerce side, we're going to have e-commerce on our marketplace. And NEKTR is the substance, is the power, is the fluid force that drives everything around our marketplace.
You kind of brought up Polygon and such like that, because I noticed that especially with a lot of I guess with cycles with specific bull runs and such like that, there's certain coins that kind of tend to do well. So a lot of people were saying us Polygon was going to be the next coin that does really well with for the next bull run, because I forgot what the saying was, but it was in a sense where Polygon had like these huge partnerships with these like Coca-Cola and all this other big companies and such like that. Because for example, a blockchain that was super popular in the last bull run, which did absolutely amazing, was Solana. And Solana ended up the fourth biggest or third biggest coin. It ended up beating BNB at a point, which was absolutely crazy. But it's great to see teams are adapting. Obviously it's going to be a lot more harder work in a sense, because you guys are on a blockchain that isn't widely adapted. But the thing is, if you're able to with a little bit of luck, and the constant building and such like that, the market shares, obviously the companies and such like that are building on Polygon, it's not as much as BSC or Ethereum or such like that. But if you're able to if Polygon gets widely, massively adopted, and you guys are working hard and have all these utilities that are out, you guys will reap the rewards. The investors will reap the rewards. So amazing. So I guess talking a little bit about you guys are LLC, right? The Nested Labs.
Yep, correct.
Oh, perfect. All right, so I guess jumping onto things, we noticed on the white paper, I guess on the website as well, you guys feature a P2P payment dApp as well as a wellness dApp. But since there's a lot of specific infos on these utilities on your website and white paper, a lot of people, they don't have time to go into the website and white paper. Tell a little bit about these these dApps, and what are their current stages of in development, and what are they, I guess, what do they do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the wellness dApp, and then I'll let Dwayne jump in and talk to the payment dApp. How's that sound?
To me.
Yeah, so on the wellness dApp, I mean, this goes back to the old days of, when we were initially focused on just cannabis. I came up with the concept to where, it's all about psychology. It's all about taking surveys. Someone would take a survey, probably about 10 questions. It's all about life tuning and life centering, aligning your chakras, the seven gates. So it's mind, body, spirit. And so basically you're talking about, how your day's been or how the last week's been in terms of, your appetite level, your sleep level, your energy level, all these different questions that you answer. And you also answer the magnitude of importance to yourself. And based off of taking that questions, we map it to terpene expressions, terpenes coming from cannabis, right? That create different responses to your endocannabinoid system. And so by talking about what you want to do, how you want to center yourself, it points you in the direction of certain strains that have certain cannabis or certain terpene expressions. And so I've taken that now and I've grown that to having other adaptogens, right? Having adaptogenic mushrooms, having things like turkey tail, reishi, cordyceps, things like that. But then also expanding it to things like nettles, a lot of herbalism, nutraceutical type things. And I've been in consult with a medical doctor who's backing our DAO. named Dr. Kelly, and we're actually going to create some formulations that'll help for pain and inflammation management. And so actually you'll be able to take this survey and it'll point you into some product lines that we're going to have that eventually are going to be on our e-commerce site. So right now I've mapped out the entire process. It points to 15 different cannabis strains, and I've now added, like I said, the mushrooms, and now I'm looking for certain other things like ashwagandha, nettles, and just tuning kind of the quantity, right? And then it'll be biofeedback loops to where, depending on your weight, if it's tied to APIs like your Apple Watch, Garmin, things like that, it becomes connected with the user. You can use like Lumen. We're tying in other lifestyle apps, and we'll have a free version to where people can just use it to just get a recommendation, go for it. There'll be a pro version where it keeps track of what your user history was. It keeps track of the actual accuracy of what we're putting out there. And so, eventually we'll have a full-on herbalist on our team that will be constantly, finding new compounds and then mixing together like certain elements of it, depending on what the user expression wants. Whether you want a non-psychoactive experience, you want a psychoactive experience, if you're talking like meditation, prayer, things like that. And so this DApp will be a Web3 DApp. It'll be integrated with our marketplace, and people who have NEKTR will be the ones that will get the full unlock of the application. So that's about the wellness DApp. So right now it's all planned out. We have a couple other things ahead of it. We'll be working on dynamic NFT contracts that will tie into that current growing game that we have for the Stoner DAO. And then this payment app is actually ahead of the wellness DApp. And so Dwayne will talk now about where he's at with the payment DApp, and then kind of what the whole thought process is behind it and how it connects consumers and friends. So go ahead, Dwayne. I think you're still muted.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Hey guys. I'll walk you through some of the updates on the payment app. We basically plan to like with the first step is with this dynamic NFTs. We are trying to integrate this. So as part of that, when we have some companies who will be doing like dynamic collections like for the ice cream shops and stuff. So that basically gave us the idea, as well as for like different payment solutions for these businesses, because like obviously when they integrate with NFTs, they will also want to integrate furthermore. So like our payment apps could be like used in subscriptions. So if you want to charge people in crypto for your gated community or for any of your channels or stuff like that, you could charge them with a subscription contract of ours. And they could be like endpoints. So Web3 developers could hit our endpoints and just get the data they have to get. So they don't really need to create the whole architecture. They'll obviously get a panel to control the smart contracts and stuff. So there'll be like a small panel for business as well, like in the pro version. So businesses like could have their list of subscribers and they could charge them on yearly basis. And if you unsubscribe, it's all through the smart contract. So if you unsubscribe and basically they can't recharge you again and stuff like that. And also like, because we approve like say max one year's payment for security reasons. So just in case if someone discontinues before that, we will not charge them like if it's a monthly subscription or 3 months or 6 months. So like this way we designed it. And also you could request payments from each other. So like if you have the app or if you're using the Web3 website of it, you'll have a notification like Ra. Sorry, like I requested a payment from Ra. Maybe he has to pay me like $500 for something that he owed me. He forgot about it, so I can just send him a request. He sees, okay, fine, I need to make this payment. He approves it. The payment comes to me. And so that's basically like subscription and normal P2P. So both can be uh, users for this application that we are building. But our more focus is on B2B, because what we are trying to do is like make that transaction cost much cheaper, which Polygon gives us that scalability to do so. So say maybe someone has 20,000 subscribers that are paying, or 10,000 subscribers. So it's much cheaper to charge them monthly basis on Polygon as compared to even BSC, for example. So that's why we chose Polygon, for our scalability. It helps us with our e-commerce side of the website. It helps us with the DAO. It helps us with almost everything in Web3. So that's, I can't give more details about the stuff, because as that comes out, I will be posting that.
Yep, we'll have it on YouTube, and we'll be giving development updates post-launch of the token.
Wait, sorry, just to cut it off. Is the P2P kind of like I guess a company I could kind of think of when you mention it? Is it kind of like Stripe? You know what Stripe is?
Yes.
So
Yes.
does it kind of work in the similar way as Stripe? Because Stripe, they do a lot of payment processing for, like, for example, I think they did like for Hustlers University, let's say, they used to with Andrew Tate, where people, they could pay a membership monthly, and they get access to the Discord role based on, I don't know, like, but it's really good for like groups and such like that need like that monthly payment thing to track. Is this kind of similar to that in a sense?
Yeah, it's like a self-branded Patreon, basically, right? So you want access, and it's just like a gated access, and it's facilitating large numbers of transactions.
Because what makes it little difficult is like the charging process, right? To accept that allowance for auto charge. So for security reasons, like we don't want to like put a huge number of allowance in case of any mishaps. So that's what makes Web3 little more like, you can't auto charge the person obviously till he approves it, and or if you approve too much, maybe something goes wrong with the contract somewhere, and then someone has access to all those people's allowance. So that's why it's a little tricky, but we are trying to find like the perfect solution. And our main thing with this app is like developers can use like very easy API endpoints. So that what I think is like, even if you have a normal website, you could fetch the data on that. If you're having like a JS app or React app, it's very easy to fetch data. So
Okay.
It's also
cool.
a revenue generator for
Yeah.
NEKTR.
I guess that's kind of the payment processing idea. So, I guess talking about the technology and such like that behind the services, especially for the payment app, highlight the safety and security measures for it as well, because, obviously the whole issue with, payments and stuff like that is safety and security. So talk a little bit about that. What do you guys have in store regarding that?
So, like I said, for the main security with payment apps like this kind of app is just like not allowing, allowing yourself too much of someone's, because sometimes, like transactions in the blockchain get accepted twice. Like you approve a transaction, you're approving it only for him to use your tokens. That means for us to use your tokens. Now, for some reason, maybe data somewhere is lagging on the blockchain or somewhere. Now this guy goes and he approves another maybe 1 million tokens to us. So now we actually have access to 2 million tokens, whereas we only need to charge him like 1 million. But obviously, if you are a shady project, that's where you could hurt a lot of people, because you have a lot of people there. You have taken, like, I'll give you an example with Pink Sale. When we were doing the approved transaction to transfer the 12% of tokens for them. I approved it the first time. The transaction went through on the blockchain, but their UI was not updating and it's telling me to approve again. And I was like, I'm not going to approve 12% of my supply again for you to use it. So, but I mean, people who are not into Web3 could keep on clicking approving and it's going there. So, like these kind of things obviously are the security basically that we will be checking. And most of our projects are normally delayed for this reason because till we are not fully satisfied, till it's not tested, we don't let it out. We rather face the community, have some delay with it, but launch a safe project.
And just like anything else, like for these transactions, they have to approve and sign in their own wallet. They're not giving us we're not getting access to their wallet keys or their seed phrases. It's all done based off through the security of their own wallet that they're maintaining.
And the smart contract will obviously be fully audited, like most of our contracts, like our marketplace contracts, we will have them all audited so that we are safe and the community is safe as well.
Absolutely.
No re-entrance and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess, regarding the P2P system, there's already a ton of them that are already out there, as well as, wellness apps in the market right now. So, how do you plan to differentiate these services you guys will be offering to gain a competitive advantage in order to grow and steal market share from other competitors?
Yeah, so that's through partnerships, right? I think we're in the unique position to be that, one-stop shop hub, right, of Web3. So continuing to build partnerships across not only Web3, but also external to Web3, like the healthcare system, which I'm already doing. I've already got a medical doctor who actually, I don't want to say that, like I'm specifically the reason why he made the jump, but I think I helped get him over the finish line. Prior to the pandemic, he was like one of the top pharmaceutical doctors. He was very into pharmaceutical medicine. Throughout the course of the pandemic, a lot of his customers wanted that in-home care. So he's made that model to be an in-home care doctor. And then with that, consumers want access to more holistic things. And so after talking to him, I started to talk to him about, terpenes, cannabinoids, started to put a bug in his ear, worked on cultivating that relationship over the course of a year, until finally he's decided to collaborate on developing a product that he will integrate into his practice. So I have a user base of, now that he's sold a portion of his business for in-home doctor care, I already have a network of over, at this moment, probably 2,500 private care in-home patients that are dealing with pain and inflammation. And these are people that are not on insurance or Medicare. They're wealthy people that are paying for private doctor in-home calls, right? And so building on these networks, building on some of these investors as we go to selling portions of our LLC for our funding round. So after we get this token rolling, we'll have a funding round for the LLC prior to the launch of the marketplace, the first 10%. So I've got financial advisors that'll help us navigate that, as well as dealing with other small businesses. Like here in the Des Moines Metro in the US, I've got several contacts of small businesses. Dwayne talked about an ice cream shop. There's an ice cream shop that's starting up. We're going to be creating a VIP program using dynamic NFTs. So we're kind of onboarding people into Web3 that were never in Web3, and we're showing them a solution that has low gas, easy entry point, easy access for people that don't want to see, 40, 50% of their transaction go towards gas. And so the enrollment conversations for that are pretty easy. We're just basically building momentum. We start with this shop, we go to that network of their other individuals who are on our radar, and then we go to grocery stores, we go to bars and such like that as a payment endpoint solution for alternative payment. And so we've got the roadmap there, we've got the business connections, and we're going to continue to build that both on, you know, the small business side and on the nutraceutical kind of holistic care side with naturopathic doctors and even NDs that are now moving towards more holistic methods. So we've got some extensive networking we've been doing over this time period. And then one of the biggest things is the social DAO. That's how we differentiate ourselves. The social DAOs are the game changers. That's where businesses can connect with their consumers in a virtual space, and have decisions being driven based off of the amount of tokens they're using to vote on social aspects, right? And so small businesses can easily, instead of building their own website, their own infrastructure, they can take our smart contracts, they can take our UI UX, and they can have a space for their consumers, a space for their customers and partners to talk, and they can drive actual change and have in-person events and things like that. It works perfectly for musicians. We've got 2 bands that have signed on, an Australian band called Friend of the Enemy, Friends with the Enemy rather, and then also they're out of Gold Coast. And then we've also got a band, a new artist named Star, out of West Hollywood that we've done some collaborations with in Vegas, who's jumping on too for her fan base, right? So it's kind of like a access type thing for behind the scenes VIP access. So they'll be minting their first collections and creating their DAOs based off of their bands. So we've got a lot of exciting things. We've cast our web really wide, and when the marketplace comes up, we'll already have a lot of momentum. And so now the reason why we're accepting, wrapped ETH as well as one of the trading pairs is we want to reach out across the Web3 space and start getting those heavy Ethereum users to start looking a little harder at Polygon. And maybe they don't want to swap full on to, Matic, but they have the opportunity to just bridge it and go to wrapped ETH and still be able to get our token and be able to list their NFTs for wrapped ETH, be able to purchase other NFTs for wrapped ETH. But the beauty of having the NEKTR is that they can set up their ads, they can set up all their subscription services in NEKTR. They can adopt NEKTR early, and as the price rise, it's pennies on the dollar for their ads and subscription services for like verification, kind of like, Twitter Blue. We'll have our own version. Instead of it being profile to profile, it'll be contract to contract. So every contract has to be verified. Just because you had like one cool contract that minted out, you have to get the secondary contract for a new collection would have to be verified as well, just to bring credibility and security to the space and make sure that consumers know what they're getting into. And, our brand is all about utility, right? We're going to push really hard on people that are bringing NFT collections in to say, even if it's about the art, which is great, you got to offer some utility, some level of access, some level of something else for these people that are holding and buying large quantities of NFTs.
All right, so I guess let's talk into the revenue behind these utilities. Where will the revenue from these utilities be allocated towards?
Yeah, so some of the fees that are collected, is that what you're saying? For the marketplace as a whole, or for the utilities that are being collected?
It could be the marketplace, it could be the wellness app, it could be
Oh, sure. Yeah. Where are they going? So first off, any of the LP that's taken from the taxes, the buy and sell, which is very low, 5% of the token structure, that LP will be utilized for marketing as well as just buying back. It'll be Matic, but then we'll buy back. We're starting from zero, but we will buy LP in the token. The other thing is the marketplace has a splitter contract. So any revenue generating thing that happens on the marketplace, the platform fee for transactions, anything like that, it all goes into a splitter contract that goes into a treasury. It goes to some salaries and some marketing. So everything is split and allocated. Our team doesn't draw any any type of salary from the token itself. We'll have to buy the pre-sale. The only team tokens that come are vested tokens, and only 1% of a total of 5% over 5 years, but 1% is unlocked each year. And so from the initial, our team won't have any tokens that are just allocated, right? We'll have to get them the same way everyone else gets them, through the pre-sale or just through regular purchasing during the public sale. But 5% of that splitter contract, 5% of all revenue from the application, the nested app, goes towards supporting LP for the token. So it's like a symbiotic relationship. As the token grows, the marketplace grows. As the marketplace grows, the token continues to grow with LP. So that's how we do that. And most of the fees on the marketplace will be collected in wrapped ETH or Matic. But for the few ones that are collected in NEKTR, we want to promote, price stability, right? So that's why we're not allowing NEKTR to be a payment option for like listing your collection in NEKTR right now. For the first 2 years, we're going to have these 5% buy and sell fees, but our target is after 2 years, we actually turn off all fees. So right now there's no transfer fee, but there'll be 5% buy and sell, but in 2 years, there'll be no fees at all. And then at that point, that is where we would renounce the contract. Right now it's owned because it's tied into the marketplace, but once we have a stable price point from 2 years from now, we'll just renounce the contract. It'll live on its own. It'll be that governance token that's driving what we do, as well as, using for subscription services. So any of those fees, there's a split that you can see, a 60-40 split of what goes towards development, what goes towards marketing, right? So it's meant to be a living token, right? A token that supports itself, a token that gets support from a marketplace, and it's just an ecosystem at the end of the day. And so the way we have it structured is that we will continue to be able to not only support and scale marketing, promotions, things like sponsoring MMA fighters, things like that. One thing that I didn't mention, which is pretty cool, is on one of our really core members of our team is Keith Berry, the MMA fighter, who's a big influencer in the NFT space. And so, yeah, he's a minority owner of Nested Labs, and he's going to help us scale and grow and attract a lot of Ethereum users. He's a purist for NFTs. He's that guy who's out there buying, one of one art. He's going to have his own DAO. He's going to be a DAO governor from the start with his own collection. He hasn't decided whether it's going to be MMA based or what. He's still kind of in the wings trying to figure that out. But yeah, we've got some strong partners, and we've got some people that are going to bring revitalization back to the space, especially on Twitter, right? Twitter's going through ebbs and flows. It's trying to get some momentum again. And I like that you guys are hopping on Twitter and stuff too. So we want to continue to grow and scale there as well, and just keep it rolling, man. Keep the energy going. Finally, with the XRP thing, we've got some momentum happening. If XRP can do it, Coinbase can do it, Binance can do it. This might be the start of the bear market, or the bull market, hopefully. Truly.
Exactly. I guess you talked a little bit about, you got into a little bit about the DAOs and stuff like that. You already have projects that are interested in working with you guys that have DAOs. So, in your white paper, it talks about, your token will serve as the exclusive governance token for the various social DAOs featured on the Nested.app, which is, obviously an NFT Web3 commerce marketplace. So tell us more about this, including what do these marketplaces consist of and how do they tie into the NEKTR ecosystem altogether?
Yeah, very cool. So the e-commerce side of it, which will be coming in Q4, will be highly integrated, right? We'll basically have ERC 1155 tokens that represent
next year.
Yep. Or it might even be Q1, yeah. So we're going to focus on obviously the launch and everything in the apps, but the e-commerce side of it will heavily focus on, having NFTs represent goods and services, right? So right now, if you go on OpenSea and you buy an NFT that has, unlockable content, I just did this like not long ago with one of our partners who sponsored a event, Special K Glass. They had these bongs that you could buy, and when you bought these bongs, one of 4 different series, you could buy it on OpenSea. You could get unlockable content, which was a coupon code, but then you had to go to their actual website, redeem that code, and they'd ship you a bong, a real bong. And I thought it was cool that they were using what was already there in terms of unlockable content, but you had to leave one marketplace to go to another marketplace to claim it. With our e-commerce site, they'll have NFTs that represent goods or services, and the transaction will be facilitated right there on our marketplace. And that transaction will lead to the payment right there. So it won't be like a redeemable code. It's like you bought the NFT, but that facilitates the transaction to actually get that item shipped, like all in one shot. Versus like, hey, I got to remember to redeem this later. It's like, nope, you bought the NFT. The NFT is like effectively your receipt for what's already coming. So that's what we're going to be integrating, working with some partners, getting some drop shipment locations in the different markets of the world. We think we've got a good handle on South Asia. We've got some people in Europe, and then obviously we're right here in the US. So we're evaluating what type of shipping relationships we would have. Amazon's easy, but we like to support smaller businesses, people that, aren't going to just kind of say you're one of many, but they're going to be like a real partner. So we're evaluating that. And so that's going to be integrated. Each business, instead of doing an eBay model where you're just some random person selling something and you hope it gets there, we're going to have like actually registered businesses have the ability to have a storefront, which saves money for people who are doing startups of businesses, because you don't have to have your own website. You don't have to have your own Shopify or something like this. It's all integrated into our platform, and that they'll get their own storefront, which is basically an address that's an extension of our marketplace. And so there'll be ratings, there'll be verified, all sorts of things that are aimed at protecting the consumer. And just like any other way of how does we get revenue from that, basically it's just the platform fee. We're hosting them, and so when they facilitate their transaction, it's just our platform fee, which will be less than OpenSea. And so there's very, very little, actually no upfront cost for that. And then hopping on back to the DAO side of it, the NEKTR, one NEKTR or even less, it depends on how they want to define it. Each governor can define what it costs to vote. If a DAO member really wants something, they can put a lot more NEKTR up there to try to influence the vote, right? On the social side of it, right? And so, all those fees that are collected go back to support the marketplace as well, right? The purchase will have points, like activation points, where you can facilitate a transaction. You need NEKTR to do it. You can right there integrate it into the toolbars. You can swap from whatever Polygon token you have and get NEKTR literally right there to facilitate those transactions for like subscription services, to fill up your bag, to be able to vote in the DAO and things like that. And the model of the social DAOs is a little different than other models, because not everybody from the start might be able to afford to be a DAO governor, to have their own DAO. But you could join a DAO. You could come up with some art and things like that are reflective of the community. You can reach out to the DAO governor and apply to have your collection be recognized as an official DAO collection. In order to do that process, we want that DeFi in there, so that DAO governor takes that collection and says, okay, we'll bring it to the community for a vote. If it's accepted, they could choose to do a 50-50 split collaboration, maybe on the collection, if they want to collaborate on the art, if it's just a concept first. But if they already have art, basically it's just a kind of like a tribute system, to where, okay, if you're going to be an official DAO collection in my DAO, then I just get that 5%, 5% royalty. So that way it's kind of like you're artists supporting other artists, you're helping sweep the floor, but it's not like shady backdoor deals. It's like, hey, if you're interested, let's bring it forward to the community and they can vote on if they think it's reflective of the community. So that way it's up there and it's really about people supporting people at the end of the day. And everybody's eating, right? We're not we're not trying to exclude people, but you got to grind, right? You got to bring a good product. You can't just mail it in. It's all about these DAOs being in competition with each other. Certain DAOs will have different benefits, and then people will be saying that in their community, like, "Hey, I'm also a part of this DAO over here. They do this. Have you considered this?" So it's all about iron sharpening iron. And from the launch, we'll have at least three, maybe five DAOs for the launch of the marketplace. They'll start off, as Discord groups, and then once we've got all the UI UX, it'll be fully integrated into the marketplace. So yeah, if you want a DAO, I would say, make sure you've got some NEKTR, make sure you've got these things, because that's that gateway, and get it while it's cheap once we just launch, because the price will go up quickly. That $50,000-$100,000 you put in now is going to go a long, long way, especially as we hit milestones coming out of the public launch, going into opening up the testnet environment for all the NEKTR holders to get in there and start playing with the marketplace, testing functions on the testnet, and then moving right into the mainnet. So Q3 is a big quarter for us here in 2023, with both the token launching and the marketplace launching. So all things are converging at the same time in a good way.
Okay, cool. So I guess, you're talking about the testnet applications. Is it true that NEKTR holders are able to experience your Web3 ecosystem through exclusive access, as you mentioned, the testnet applications, environments for a variety of, dApps? And, why did you decide to include this sort of feature?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, that VIP feeling, right? You're someone who backed us early, you're someone who has a belief in something. And so from our perspective, it's like, hey, eventually we want just the greater public to be able to go use these functions and do everything and do the testing. But we feel like that NEKTR holders should get a leg up on being able to get in there, experience it, because the period of time that they'll be able to be in the test net, they'll have an advantage to when we go to mainnet. The full public window of time for testnet is probably going to be shorter than, well, it will be shorter than what the NEKTR holders will get. So then once we go live to mainnet, the NEKTR holders will have the experience of the functions, know exactly what to do, and they'll have the kind of the added benefit of being able to get their contracts deployed, their collections up, get their DAOs established, or get a leg up on getting these dynamic NFTs, right, that are tied to being able to interact and level up their dynamic NFTs to get access to certain things in the marketplace. So it's kind of like you get a head start on the competition, right? NEKTR unlocks the full potential of our marketplace. Like, we'll have free apps will be free, but NEKTR is a way to be able to unlock more, basically. So that's why we decided to do that way. We do believe in everyone in the public being able to get in there and do things, but it's easier to deal with a group of people that are backing you and giving them access, like in Discord, helping. We'll have tutorials and stuff that'll be integrated into the marketplace, but it's nice to talk to people and collaborate. So we'll have a NEKTR spot of our Discord for this testnet group to be able to come in, ask questions, share experiences, give feedback as we polish the application, each application prior to mainnet, whether that's the dApps in terms of the payment, in terms of the wellness, all these different ones. We just want to continue to have like a core beta group, basically, and it'll grow as the adoption of the token grows. we want it to be an environment where other developers are like, these guys are doing something. I want to bring my application I was building and I want to have it hosted on this site. You know, we want to have our own node. We want to be validators on the Polygon blockchain. Um, yeah, we want to be big players in this blockchain. And how we get there is by inviting access, right?
Exactly. So I guess, get into, the whole testnet applications and such like that. I noticed that you guys have outlined on your 4-phase roadmap, kind of outlines everything that NEKTR has to offer. So from now on until, Q1 2024. So for people that, that haven't checked the website out, could you quickly just go over it just so people know what has already been done and what can people expect in the future?
Yeah. So, Dwayne, do you want to talk the token side or the marketplace side, or do we want to talk both? Maybe we talk the token side first.
You can go ahead.
Okay. So on the token side, obviously, it's been all the grunt work of betting on the Polygon network, right? So we've refined our smart contract for the token. We've gone through the whole everything that everyone else does, right? Or should do, right? Go through the auditing process. We chose solid proof. So contracts verified, went through the rigorous KYC process that Pink Cell has, including a 40-minute interview. Yeah. So we've done all that, got all that locked in. The contract's ready to go. We've built the network of KOL and influencers. We had to hop back over here, obviously, with CryptoFrogs. So we've done all the pre-work in terms of getting the pre-sale done. In terms of the token itself, what's actively being done right now is creating the on-site access to swap your tokens across multiple Polygon chain tokens without having to go to another router, without having to leave the website. Being able to create our in-house. Basically, we're like taxi drivers. We're getting you from point A to point B. So without you having to leave and come back and have this window open, we'll help facilitate with APIs your transfers. So those functions are being written literally as we speak. Dwayne's been refining those. The payment DApp piece, it looms high up there. So what we're doing right now is we're actively working on the smart contracts that'll be available for the dynamic NFTs, right? Making sure those dynamic NFTs point to experiences in our DAOs. So that's what we're actively doing right now on the token side as well. Outside of the physical, I guess actually technically digital coding that Dwayne's doing, I'm writing the narrative. So often I write narratives for our games. I write the technical narratives for my wellness app. I'm making sure that I get the psychological and biofeedback things looked at. I'm connected to social psychologists, making sure things make sense, talking to herbalists and things. So I'm like game mapping all of it, and then we're putting it in basically our queue. We kind of have a innovation queue of concepts that we're going to do and how we're going to hit them next. So instead of being crazy and having everything available at once at launch of the token, we're going to keep bringing that new hotness. There's things that we aren't even talking about on here that we have. We want to make sure that we're a very innovative group. When you put the name Labs behind your project, you better bring innovation, right? That's why we're Nested Labs. Nested, like the bird, brings homage back to the old hummingbird. Now we've tried to integrate something, another nod to the Himalayas in Nepal. It's a Himalayan monal bird, which is kind of like a pheasant. That's the new logo for Nested Labs. So we still got a bird there. We're still staying true to ourselves. But yeah, it's all about innovation pipeline and making sure that it doesn't get stale. We don't want that whole like waiting for something new, like what's happening. We want to continue to bring innovation, say Here's another use case for NEKTR. Here's another use case for NEKTR. Here's another use case for NEKTR. So that's happening, as well as the growth of the marketplace. Here's this system in the marketplace coming up. Here's this system. Because there's a V1, and then eventually there's going to be a V2 by virtue of the fact that Polygon 2.0 is coming. And so we've got an innovation pipeline, and we continue to work from ideas, ideation to narrative to actual development. And so we want to scale this now. Like Dwayne and I have been, attached at the hip doing this. We're growing our team internationally, but we do want to scale this to get people that will have the ability to, as we're focusing on the things we're focusing on now, help us build infrastructure with additional APIs so that we can, kind of bring everything together in a faster way, right? And so, yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to attract other developers, and we really feel like Polygon is the future.
I think the main way for revenue generation is through APIs, to be honest.
Yep.
Like if you see
Absolutely.
any of the big companies, Twitter and Facebook and stuff, the mainstream of generating revenue is through the APIs. So that's what we plan on building with all of these. Like why we are choosing such a wide range of things, because at the end of the day, it's just simple backend thing that you need and smart contract connection to a front UI. So it's not really a big task if you know what you're doing yourself, rather than having to outsource or hiring a developer for every small thing that you want to launch. And that's what I think is like these DAOs will connect everyone there, like rather than you starting a new app, and if you are already in the DAOs and stuff, you could launch your app as a plugin. Like we are welcome to collaborate with all these DAOs that join us, So if they are even not only like NFT collections that we'll be focusing on, so if people have like AI plugins or and stuff, and they DAO comes up with approves it, and they decide to integrate it, and then if we agree with it and we find it feasible, so we end up setting up the whole backend and everything. Like I'll give you a common example. Like if you want a dynamic NFT, you have to run your own API. If you're going to have a website, you will need to run that separate. And most of the people who will even buy hosting, they won't know backend. So if you don't know backend, that means you're going to buy a fully serviced Amazon package, which will be costing you a bomb every month. And
Yep.
whereas if you are working with us or planning to join our system, it falls much cheaper, I think so. Like even if you're launching your plugin, and we are only taking, like if your application is generating revenue, we get a percentage for it. So as a network, that helps us, and hopefully that will cover our server cost, and because that's the main cost, running servers,
Yeah.
running the nodes and stuff. So we have it pretty much figured out that way, that if we can offer people a platform to come and join up, so you don't have to spend all that money on marketing like what we are spending right now, because the
Exactly.
network so I mean it would be much cheaper to launch a project. Like for example, if you're right now running it at maybe 80K 50K, when you come on the platform, it will cost you like maybe 3 4Ks, so you're bringing the price down, you're giving the person less work, he doesn't have to go find a developer. Maybe there's already a couple of developers in the DAO, so he gets access to that, he gets access to animators, 3D artists, and that's the whole way how I think the system will run.
Exactly. We're a Web3 hub is what we want to be at the end of the day, which is why we don't call ourselves an NFT marketplace. People say, are your competitors OpenSea? Is it Magic Eden? We say no. We say they have NFTs across multiple blockchains, which is really cool. But what we say is we're going to have a fully integrated token that'll drive all aspects of Web3, whether you're talking gaming, whether you're talking just, regular, everyday lifestyle, dApps, whatever. We want to be a home for people that are creators, people that are collectors, people that are artists, right?
And the best thing about being on Polygon is like, to be honest, you don't really need to move to a new chain. You could just integrate ZK EVM and you're integrating something new. And same with the two supernets which will be coming in the future roadmap. So that's why we didn't want to be a cross-chain application in itself. Because to be honest, like ZK stuff that they're not really like data collecting abilities right now available. So that's why we didn't add ZK EVM till we are pretty much sure what to expect from Polygon. But most likely in the second roadmap update, once we get more knowledge about the ZK EVM and POS, how they work together, then that should be our future integration probably.
And we also plan to like, like I said, be legit, be a validator, you know, make some noise, really push that, hey, we're here, Polygon type of conversation. We're here building on your blockchain. We're here bringing traffic to your blockchain. They'll see the volume of the NFTs. They'll see the volume of the token as we scale the adoption across real life businesses, the testimonials, things like that to,
Also,
say, hey,
running our own node means like basically we won't be using many third-party dependencies, which right now we will be using. So we'll be cutting out from a lot of third-party dependencies by having our own nodes. So basically, only us and our community will get access to those nodes at some time. First, we'll allow it public so that it gets the name out there also of Nested Labs as a free node provider for some time, but then later on, as our network grows, we will kind of make it then more
and
secure.
that's a good point, Dwayne, because why does that matter to the average person who's an NFT collector? Because if you have dynamic NFTs, you want to see your stats increasing almost in real time. You don't want it to be like, oh, I did this task or I did this thing in real life and now I got to wait 24 hours for my 5 points to show up on my bar. If you got your own node, we're not we're not like working with Amazon or somewhere else, or we're waiting for all these other people and everything, and the speed of which the change happens is much slower. If we're on our own node, you'll see it much quicker. And so it gives that kind of like psychological, like, oh, I just did this. Like, let me go open my phone and see if my NFT is leveled up. Maybe I'm 10 points away. Boom. Now it's transformed into something else. I'm almost to
Yeah,
that level 3.
because new people, it can freak them out, like we
Yep.
know we have to wait for some time for the transaction, but like our target market will be a lot of new people. And to be honest, like having your own node is like 200 milliseconds difference, from using a paid public node also. So that's what we'll be needing, and I think it's a good investment, in itself, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Right. Amazing, I guess, explanation. I guess moving on, why did you guys decide to do a pre-sale for NEKTR versus, a fair launch or stealth launch?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hype, right? To be, to be, honest, it's all about hype. Um, we felt like there needed to be some excitement in the space. You notice we don't have, it's not like a vested pre-sale where you get your tokens like a year later or something with like a super, super, super deep, deep discount. We're trying to be fair and equitable. It's a 5% um, discount for the pre-sale, but everyone's getting that price locked in. Whereas when you do the fair launch and if you didn't, if you didn't if you weren't there right on the start, like the difference between your transaction and the next person's transaction could be crazy in terms of the amount of tokens you get when everyone's trying to hit that thing at the same time. And I know a lot of people get a lot of heartburn and a lot of heartbreak by like, oh crap, I was a minute late and now now it's 15x or things like that. We want those people that have been screwed in projects before to come here to see this new hotness and say, hey, I'm going to get in for the pre-sale. And I know no matter what I've got going on day one, I'm going to get some return and I can take profits if I want, but it's a
Because the
project that
LP,
once
we
in a long
start
time.
also with a good LP, like
Exactly.
that way.
That's crucial.
Is Yeah, if we hit our hard cap, we're putting 60%. So all that is in liquidity as compared to us starting it with a smaller liquidity and having it really crazy and some bots attack. So I think when you start with a good, because we have like 75, 77% of supply, and we are going to submit that whole 77% with that 60%. So we have
Absolutely.
to
And then
buy ourselves. Yeah.
exactly. That I think that is definitely a big difference there of like, you know, from day one after the pre-sale, we're already building the marketing networks. They're ready to go. They're like, wait, when can we start? We've done what we've done for the pre-sale, but we've got some calls lined up. We've got, some DeFi marketing groups sending proposals in the wings just by building our network, whether, it's through Greater Pink Sale Network, whether it's through different DeFi marketing partners of like, for instance, we chose Solid Proof for our contract audit. And so we're meeting a lot of people, we're doing a lot of vetting, but at the same time, we're doing it across multiple different avenues, right? We don't want to be just in the social media space for marketing. We want, ads. We also want SEO. We want, print, video, you know, kind of a very robust, right? And so the ability of having that pre-sale, gathering those funds, having a certain amount allocated for marketing from day one, you can hit like literally from the moment you press go on the launch, you've got marketing that's highly keyed into launch day, that's constantly driving content. We're constantly innovating. We're building that network where we're getting the word out, where we're not like, oh, let's see how the first week goes and then we'll start marketing, as some projects do, where like by week two, it's been 15x, been 20x, then there's a dump off and people are like, where's the marketing? And then they're like, well, we just need to get another zero defeated before we can do marketing. Like, we don't want to be that group. We put a lot of our own personal capital into this development. It's one of these things where we believe in what we're doing, and it's not necessarily just for the financial pursuit. It's more of just like providing freedom and access of people into Web3. Web3 gets a bad rap. You see the headlines like FTX and things like that, a lot of greed. For instance, our project's not going to have staking pools that we have access to. We're not going to trade your money to try to make more money for ourselves. If you want to stake your token, you can go to QuickSwap, SushiSwap. You can stake it in those pools. We don't want backdoor access to anything that anybody else has. Like, you choose how and when you want to access those funds, remove and add liquidity. That's not our game. We're not going to be like, oh, lock it up for a year and then hope you get a return later on. That's not our game. This isn't a security token. This token is about, driving both social change, but also just creating a paradigm shift about how an NFT, how a not an NFT project, but how a Web3 project can be ran, right? The things that you see in like legitimate connected businesses, can we see that translate into Web3? That's what we're trying to bring, a lot more legitimacy to Web3 because we believe in it.
Interesting. So we're going to take a look at some of the community questions.
Sure.
What they ask, almost 1,000 comments. Holy smokes.
So there's a lot of hands up.
Let's read a couple of them. All right. So Dennis asks is, with the wellness app to accurately track users' physical activities. Hold up.
Yep.
I keep going all the way to the bottom. Sorry, my bad. Physical activities and user lifestyle management would man, it keeps, because everyone's typing so much that it just, hold on, okay. With the wellness, let me just copy and paste this question.
No problem.
This is ridiculous. There's so many people asking questions as well. Okay. With the wellness app to accurately track users' physical activities and users' lifestyle management, would NEKTR be required, I guess the token he's referring to, require access to personal data including location, information, exercise pattern? This raises some privacy concerns as users may be hesitant to share such sensitive information with a third-party platform, especially if it involves around storing personal data on the blockchain. What assurances would you give investors that their information is safe and there will be no breach or misuse of their information? That's a good question.
Yeah, so the way it's set up for that piece of it, they're basically APIs. It's the same, it's the data that you're giving to Apple, it's the data that you're giving to all of these other applications. We're just pulling in raw data. In terms of your profile, we don't know who you are. We don't know where you're at. We don't care. It'll still be DeFi in and of itself. It'll just be data represented. We won't know that you're in whatever country. Like, it's basically, we're grabbing data and we're storing it for you to be able to see, right? At the end of the day, in your profile. We won't sell your data. We don't, that's not our game.
So I'll explain it to you in the smart contract, basically, right? So when you log in, right, with your address, which is your wallet, so it fetches the data which is connected to your wallet, and only you can see that data. So unless someone gets a hold of your wallet, no one can see that data, because this is a private function. It's not a public function. So only and it's cannot be manipulated by, when I say private, means only a function from the contract can call it. So that's where it is, like when you have assets, maybe NFTs, the same way. How do you see your NFTs is like you are signing in with your wallet, and it fetches only your data out. It does not fetch any other wallet's data. So we are not saving it on any Web2 kind of DB for that reason. And we don't really need to also, because Web3 is more secure in that way,
Yeah, there's no benefit to us to have that data. Honestly, it's basically a user lifestyle tool. The only thing that we'll see is the number of users and the number of times the functions are called, right?
And here again, Polygon is better off, because when you're calling transactions or you're making changes to your application, it's not like you're paying $50 per transaction.
Exactly.
Right? So.
All right, cool. Okay, next question. Let's take a look. Mike has made it easier for me. Perfect. All right, Mia asks, what if there was a change in the policy and partnerships that you have? How does this impact the utilities you might have added based on the services of those third-party partners?
That's exactly what Dwayne stated before. That's the whole reason why we're writing our own. We're doing our own functions. We don't want to be, beholden to Morales and things like that long term, because things change. APIs change, 1inch changes. All these things change, and it's a lot to manage if you're going to be doing that for the foreseeable future, for 5 years, for 10 years. We don't want to have downtime for our hub, right? So the benefit for what we're doing is we're testing, like, as he's building these functions. First, he's just validating that what we want to do can be done, right? And then he's taking some of these calls and functions and he's literally rewriting them from the ground up with our control. And so it's basically what we've been doing is the validation that we can get from point A to point B. We can store this data, we can call this data, we can, use JavaScripts where needed. But even that's just like a proof of concept where then you remove the JavaScripts and you do it with smart contracts for speed and security.
Even in our NFT contracts, basically, like the hidden links, what you have for what you're giving out to people, that is also saved in the smart contract. So it's not like in some database, so if you have like a JSON package for your first unlocked collection, and then people can actually guess because if you unlock like one of the second collections or the second levels, and someone, if you make like the same JSON data, they can actually see what is behind what NFT or what's the hidden data. So for that reason, even our NFTs are solely saved in the, like, all your hidden data is going to be in the blockchain, and once you reveal it, you can't obviously unlock it again. So you can't sell it again and make someone a fool. So we thought about security, and that's why we spend a lot of time with our smart contracts and a lot of testing and still going on.
Absolutely.
All right. Sminoff asks, is what loyalty are you guys giving to the investors so they immediately are attracted towards this project? And are there any taxes or taxes on transactions? I think you mentioned that it was going to be 5 and 5, and then you guys are going to renounce. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the 5 and 5 is just to really build momentum and make sure that we get ourselves up to a really stable price point, right? Building up into that 2 years. Even if you're talking about like the marketplace itself, how that'll operate for those first 2 to 3 months, we'll have virtually no fees on our platform. We just want users to come in, right? So like uh, listing fees, minting fees will be zero. You know, really, it's just going to be the platform fee. Like we're making it such that there's a lot of early adoption. A lot of people get in there. They mint as many contracts as they deploy as many contracts as they can. They mint as many collections as they can. They fill it up, right? That's what we're looking for. And the loyalty that we want to our initial customers and investors is that we want to make sure that they're able to get tools and contracts like dynamic NFT contracts that they can easily use, that they can use us as a proxy, or if they're a really good programmer and they can do it on their own. We're giving options to people, but we're making things cheap, both in terms of gas and for upfront startup costs, so that people can grow and scale with little to no upfront capital. And like I said, by getting NEKTR at a low price point, your money goes further. And so that's the loyalty aspect of that. So like even though like the price of NEKTR will rise, we're not gonna raise the prices for the subscription and the ad prices because NEKTR went up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be basically your money's going to go further. It's going to be tied. It's going to be tied towards the price per token versus like, oh, you know, it used to be 5 NEKTR, now it's 10 NEKTR or whatever. We're not going to price gouge. You know, the growth will follow the growth, and so your dollar today will go for $100 in the future. So like you'll have the ability to deploy multiple ad packages. You'll have the ability to verify multiple collections and kind of put yourself out there as someone who's done the investment. You almost look like an OG, right? If you're that person who's out there when the marketplace launches and you're fully verified, you've purchased a DAO, a social DAO, and you've brought your community in there from Discord to join, and it makes you be like that person who's like, okay, how did this guy get here that fast? What's the testimonial? Oh, he was an early adopter. These are the people that get some early access, like I said, to new functions, to new dApps. Also, just new features of the marketplace in and of itself. Gated access through smart contracts.
Yeah, I think we'll have like probably a Discord kind of place, where people, where they need help with their contracts or anything, will be available to help them out there also. So
Yeah, so pro user, not only meaning that you're like just a power user, right? We mean pro user. We mean we are pro our users and our consumers to make sure they have the tools and the knowledge to build, right? You don't have to you don't have to start running. You can start small. You can do some one-on-one collections. You can do a small collection just to get your feet wet. You can play around with the dynamic contracts we have. Like it's going to be an environment to where you could do something for roughly 10% of the cost is that it would take you outside of our marketplace, right? You don't have to go have a full-on team of developers and things to create a smart contract from scratch. We'll basically have a la carte type things or packages based off of, what level of deepness you want to get into from the start. But I would encourage people to back the token to start, just because that's a good point to where you get early access, you get that FaceTime with Dwayne and I and other developers that come into the fold. We've got people that are reaching out now that want to help us grow and scale from the development side as this thing starts to uh, get more momentum in terms of, hey, these guys are on Polygon. Wait, like what are they doing? Like like this is interesting. We're trying to be that differentiator in the space, right? We don't want to be just another meme coin. Meme coins are really cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a holder of multiple meme coins, but we just want to be something that can just be authentic and more than just a feel good type of meme joke, right? We want it to be something that really has use case and utility and provides connection from community, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, we have several tools also that we'll be building up, like for people to create the metadata, to do bulk transfers, to airdrop in ERC20, whether it's NFT airdrops, whether it's ERC1155. So we have a couple of tools also that we'll be building. So like from my experience in the space, what I noticed that if you go with only one side of development, whether it's like only NFTs or you're doing only DAOs, you basically have got a big uh, scale of users. Whereas if you're building small tools, like maybe you just needed to do an airdrop, you could come to our app. Maybe you're into NFTs, you could come into the app. Maybe you're a developer looking to uh, have a space to launch a plugin, you could come to us. So it's like that's where we want to be at, that place that's going to solve our solution. Maybe some people need endpoints and we could add them. We find it useful for the whole community and
Yeah.
connect people's discords, like they need times, they need alerts, stuff like that. I mean, we will have a few open source scripts also for our old OG holders and stuff. So if you've been with us in the space, you get access to a lot of our, like, there'll be some on GitHub open source, but there will be certain things that won't be there, but they'll get access to that also. Of course.
Yeah. And like all these other marketplaces, the hot buzzword is Launchpad, right? So, yep, we will have a Launchpad. We'll have an integrated Launchpad that will have an integrated whitelisting process where, you could look at holders that already have certain other NFTs that you want to whitelist, or you could just copy and paste a list of addresses and whitelist them. And yeah, we have it set up to where when you whitelist and you put a certain percentage of your collection up front, if they don't all mint out, those other ones will go back and then you could list those for the public sale. And so yeah, it's going to be a cool kind of like one-stop shop for Web3. Just people can kind of pick what their vibe is. They can try other different things. They don't have to go to 50 different websites. Get good at what they do. Create, take the art, make the art the NFT, and then use that NFT art to represent goods and services, right? Maybe they got caps they want to sell. Maybe they've got other products, or maybe they got some knowledge they want to drop. Maybe they're good storytellers, right? Maybe they got a little podcast or something like that. That's like a audio book, and they're just going to be telling stories, and people want a piece of that. Or they're musicians, and people want early access to LPs and EPs. You know, the possibilities are endless. We just want to be a Web3 hub that connects people and does it at the very lowest price point for adoption and for entry. And that's what we think Polygon will provide for our token.
Great. All right. We're gonna get into our Kahoot. I'm gonna pick someone random. Is Mike here?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, okay. Mike, feel free to share your screen for the Kahoot, and I'll pick someone random. Who is in the pond, guys? I always pick someone that's in the pond. So make sure. I'm gonna pick some people. So guys, just say that if you're in the pond or not. Go into the pond chat and say if you're here or not. Okay, guys. The crypto pond, guys. Remember, I always pick someone random from here. Have I given to Dennis? I've never given to Dennis. I've seen Dennis around. Okay, I think I'm gonna give it to Dennis. I've never seen Dennis before. So Dennis was pretty fast. All right, I'm gonna win. Pick Dennis. So guys, if you guys want to join the crypto pond, I'm gonna take the link right here. Hold up. You guys make sure you guys join up. I'll put in the discussion post. All right, guys, let's see 25 people for this Kahoot. We're gonna give 30 more seconds for people to join up. It's Kahoot. Make sure you guys are using your Telegram username. Of course, I'm gonna stop sharing my camera so you guys can see the full screen and it's not laggy. Ah, oh, finally. This mask is off. Wow, very sweaty. All right. Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna give 30 more seconds. Come on, guys. Only 14 people. Let's get to 25. Definitely a longer AMA for sure. It's already 3:30. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten anything today besides a smoothie.
I've been fasting today too. I better eat after this, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a nice I don't know what I'm gonna have. To be honest, maybe a peanut butter sandwich because I want to eat out for dinner today. So
Yeah, if I was up there, I'd get some poutine.
I don't like.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yo, what's up, Alan?
How are you guys? How's the AMA so far?
Wait, Alan, how are you? Oh, okay. I thought you were my account for a second. I was like, what?
No. I unfortunately missed the first, well, pretty much the whole AMA. I've been driving for like 40 miles.
Oh man.
Yeah,
No, it's been great, man.
I've had a super long day, honestly. I've been pretty much all over London today.
All over London?
All over London, man. I've done maybe 250 miles today, just doing bare shit.
That's insane, man. I love, you ever get over to Shoreditch? I love that area.
Shoreditch?
Yeah, randomly.
That's a very specific area to love.
Yeah, randomly happened upon that last time I was in London.
Shoreditch?
I think we were staying at the Ace Hotel, my wife and I, and right across from the Ace Hotel, there was a crazy like food court, like food trucks, just like right across. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, we went there so many times. Shoreditch is
wild, we don't really have food trucks very much in the UK.
So random, yeah, because being from the US, we felt at home. We're like, what the heck? Yeah, man, that's cool.
Alrighty, I hate to interrupt here, but I think we're gonna start the Kahoot up in 10 seconds. So I'll give you guys 10 more seconds to join, and then I'm starting this thing up.
Sweet.
Bit of a shorter Kahoot today, only 10 questions. It was my birthday the other day, and I've been a little busy celebrating, so still very good questions.
Everyone comment, happy birthday, Mike.
No, that's unnecessary. Appreciate it, though. That's unnecessary. All right, starting this up in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin. Alrighty. Question number 1, which of these statements best describes NEKTR? So we have a P2P payment token that grants access to exclusive marketplaces and DAOs, an ETH utility and governance token redefining lifestyle apps and Web3 commerce, same thing but on Polygon, and then a governance token for nested social DAOs. Which one is it? A Polygon utility governance token. Great, looks like most of you guys got that one.
Sharp lads, sharp lads.
Yep. Amore in first, Bean in second, and Rival in third. All right, on to question number 2. What utility does NEKTR feature? A governance token for other DAOs, wellness DApp, P2P and B2B payment / subscription DApp. Or we have 1/3 of the above, 2/3 of the above, or all of the above. Pretty simple one if you guys were paying attention today. And it is all of the above. Great. Looks like most of you guys got that one.
Nice.
Well,
Sharp.
yeah. Bean in first, Diane in second, and Media in third. All familiar faces. Good to see you guys. Question number 3, true or false? NKT will serve as a governance token for the various social DAOs featured on Nested, an NFT / Web3 commerce marketplace. True or false? Super easy, super easy. And it is true, of course. Oh, wow, only one of you guys got it wrong. Very nice.
I think they're just trolling.
You always have a few of them, man. Always. Media takes second, and Shelby in third. Question number 4, true or false? 60% of app fees will be used for marketing, development, and server maintenance. 40% will go to the LP. True or false? Another easy one if you guys are paying attention. And remember, for these Kahoots, your score isn't only based on getting the right answer, but it's about speed, right? How fast you answer the questions. So that's why, again, always encourage paying attention to even the smallest details so you guys can answer these questions first and get a higher score during the Kahoot. Wow, a lot of you guys got that one wrong, actually. So it is true.
Wow.
Diane takes third. Question number 5. 77% QuickSwap and SushiSwap exchanges, 12% pre-sale, 5% team, 5% secondary listings, and 1% airdrop. What do these numbers represent? Current circulating token distribution, buy and sell taxes, the pink sale tokenomics allocation, or represents none of the above? A bit of a trickier one for you guys. However, if you went through everything and you did your research, should be super easy. Bit of a mixed one there, but yep, it was the pink sale tokenomic allocation. So if you go on their pink sale listing, scroll down, go to I think it's token metrics. This is what the distribution looks like here. Diane in second, Shelby back in third. Question number 6. What is NKT's total token supply and buy and sell taxes? 400 mil, 5 and 5, 40 mil, 10 and 10, 400 mil, 10 and 10, or 40 mil, 5 and 5? Another fairly simple one. You guys should get this one right. It is 40 mil, 400 mil, 5 and 5. Leaderboards remain the same. Question number 7. Where will these 5/5 buy and sell taxes be allocated to? 3% marketing, 2% buyback and burn, 3% development, 2% LP, 2% marketing, 2% development, 1% LP, or all LP? This one, bit of a harder one. But again, if you're paying attention, went through their website and everything, super easy. Great, most of you guys got that one as well. Lovely. Leaderboard the same. Second last question, or question 8. How many phases does NEKTR's roadmap have, and what is the last step of phase 3, which is Q4 2023? 3 steps, marketing and partnerships. 4 steps, development, team expansion. 5 steps, deployment of payment app beta. 4 steps, testnet deployment of their payment app. Which one is it? So it's actually 4 steps, and it's development, team expansion. Now, that's a bit of a harder one. Obviously, it's a bit tough to memorize like the roadmap step for step. So that's where I got most of you guys.
Ooh,
Diamond
shit.
hands on a streak of 3. Okay, second last question here. NEKTR has been audited in KYC. True or false? I believe we touched upon this, and again, if you check the pre-sale listing, super easy. It is true. Surfers takes 4th. Alrighty, and for our last question today, who represented NEKTR in today's AMA? Obviously, there were 2 people, but who was the main person? We have Cosmo, Ronan, Jack, or Raw Smooth? I should have done multi-select for this question, but we'll see what you guys put. It is Raw Smooth. Good, most of you guys got that one. All right, and on to the leaderboards here. In 3rd place, we have Shelby. Ooh, Shelby Snake 3rd. Nice. 2nd place, Diane. Congratulations, Diane. Good to see you again. And in 1st place, I think I know who it is. It's Mr. Bean. Congratulations, guys.
Congrats. Winner circle.
Yes, sir.
Right. Fabulous Kahoot here. Fabulous for sure. Man, over 1,000 comments. Absolutely nuts. Thank you guys all for joining. It really means a lot. Thank you to the team. Ra and Cosmo for joining up. Thank you, Mike, for creating the Kahoot, and Alan for helping me land the AMA and such like that with these guys. Super excited, known them for quite a while. Good luck on your pre-sale, guys.
Appreciate it.
You guys are going to do great for sure.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys.
So
Nobody
yeah,
does
looking forward to keep working with you guys, see what you guys have planned and such like that. And yeah, thank you all the frogs for joining. We had over 140 people, I think, at peak, just at 100 right now. So it's great to see you guys. Thank you guys all for joining. Congratulations to the winners as well. We're gonna pick a best question soon, and that'll be up. The AMA announcement at the end that we always do will be up in about 20 to 30 minutes. So yeah, thank you guys all for joining. Really means a lot. Peace out, everyone. Goodbye.
Peace out. Good weekend.